Hey, you guys! So I'm making this video to talk about some new experiences that I've had over the last couple of days and some rekindling and opening of my heart portal in ways that I wasn't aware that it was shut down and I was dimming my own light bulb. I've had these series of videos coming out where I channeled Albert Einstein. It was a little bit darker on the darker side, and it was talking about how we as a human race, how we as a collective consciousness, how do we become bright? And the human light bulb is dim. And I was working with Kryon, and Kryon was helping me to understand a deeper part of that storyline. I talk about it in a recent video that I uploaded, and I was starting to realize that part of this message is awakening an old version of myself. A part of what I used to do was I used to project part of myself into other people's spiritual worlds and give them hugs and share love with them in a way that I was inspired to stop doing that because of what I was going through in my life a few years ago. Anyway, I'm going through some sort of recycling experience when it comes to time and who I am right now and who I was a few years ago. They're starting to overlap, and I'm starting to revisit with a version of myself from a few years ago and to heal parts of my journey from that timeline so that I can grow beyond it. Anyway, I'm trying to find the best way to really describe what this is all about, but I've had this buildup talking about Albert Einstein, Kryon, the human light bulb. How can I heal that part of myself and start bringing that part of myself out in the work that I do? Well, I'm doing this now. I'm using some new techniques that were old techniques. I'm bringing them back to the surface, and I'm starting to work on healing people in a more physically projected way. Not just, I'm really wanting to touch people's hearts here. I'm really wanting to touch people's mental bodies here. I'm really wanting to give people hugs, where I actually am choosing to feel their very skin, to feel their very heartbeat, to make it even more intimate, even at a distant spiritual healing level, to really touch people. And that was something that I had turned off. Anyway, I turned off a lot of things in 2016. 2016 was such a hard year for me. One of my big background stories is that I suffered from severe depression for 20 years of my life. So I'm 35 years old. And so you can imagine 20 years of your life, over half of your life, you wanted to die. And you start that at a young age, and it transforms and transforms and transforms and transforms, but you never kill yourself. You're never going to do it, but you feel like doing it constantly, and you wonder where your place is in this world. It destroyed me. It destroyed me on a very extreme level, and I actually started learning about energy work at that time because I was trying to energetically stop my heart. One thing I've learned is you'll never actually be able to accomplish energetically destroying yourself. What you will accomplish is energetically destroying everything in your life. So I went through digging myself into a deeper and deeper and deeper hole because I was dying. I was a dead person inside. I didn't know where I belonged in this world. I was molding myself to society and trying to be the perfect person. Went to school, got an education, went to college, graduated from college, went to the professional business world. I did everything right. Why didn't I fit in? Why was I so misunderstood? Why didn't I really have a place in this world? I was dying inside. So all of those years led up to this 2016, and I've actually started to conquer my depression slightly before then. So I was coming out of my shell. I was healing. I was growing. I was becoming a happy person, a conquered person. I was starting to explore my spiritual experiences in more of a projected way, sharing them out on YouTube and starting to get to know people through psychic sessions. It was just the beginning. Anyway, in 2016, I went through very severe psychic attack experiences, and that's something that I manifested. People really feel that psychic attack experiences, you're sort of targeted and now you are under the influence. You open yourself up to those experiences. Otherwise, you'll never have them. I opened myself up to those experiences. I made a video to talk about this. Do you need energetic protection? And I talk about the whole story of that psychic attack experience. I learned so much about the spirit realm. I learned so much about energy, chaos energy, illusion, fear, how psychic attack works, what it feels like, how do you conquer it. It took me a year, but I did conquer it, and I became what I would define as a master in love. But at that time, I shut down everything. I mean, I shut down everything. My heart literally broke. And it's just crazy because I'm discovering that over the last few weeks, I am being called to heal my own broken heart. And I didn't even know that I had a broken heart still. I thought I'd moved on from that experience. I thought that I'd really conquered so much, but I hadn't yet, because a part of myself was still there in that state of suffering. And I hadn't opened my heart up to certain invisible friends, right? That were so cherished and loved by me. They made such a difference in my life. And two of those friends are Ipaygus the Rock Man and Star Guy. They're two of my best spirit, interdimensional alien being friends. I could tell you all about interdimensional beings. What's the difference between a spirit or an alien being? If you're talking to an invisible energy being, alien beings are living in other dimensions, and we can project our consciousness to communicate with them, just like we can project our consciousness to communicate with angels and spirits at higher vibrational spaces. Harmonic spaces, or even chaos spaces, in balance with chaos, in balance with love, in balance with, there's so much out there. There's so much out there. Anyway, after I went through the psychic attack stuff, I shut everything down because it was my defense mechanism. It was my survival mechanism. I was still doing psychic sessions during this time, because it was actually healing for me. It was actually helping me, because love is what heals. Love is what heals. Fear is what destroys, okay? So you have to learn how to face these experiences with love and not with fear, okay? Anyway, that's for another time. Well, it's been knocking on my door for a while. I Pegasus and Star Guy, and I might get emotional talking about this because they're my best friends. And Avery, the human alien, that's a whole other story. For those of you who have followed my channel for a really long time, I started making YouTube videos back in 2015. So if you ever want to check on who is I Pegasus, who is Star Guy, I've never heard you talking about them. That's because I've stopped. I talked about them back in like 2015, 2016, but I stopped talking about them because I stopped talking to them. I stopped talking to Avery, the human alien, as well, but that's a whole other story. So I just want to focus on Star Guy and I Pegasus. Anyway, so everything is led up to this moment, and I've been doing a lot of deep down healing that has been focused on that really long span of the 20 years of depression that I went through, and then that year of psychic attack experiences. And I really did feel like I'd moved on, but my light bulb was still dim. I hadn't brightened my light bulb yet because I wasn't I wasn't aware. I didn't realize that I was pushing Ipaygus and Star Guy away. I didn't realize that was still part of this healing journey that I was on from that super long time frame of my life. Anyway, so I'm going to take a moment to stop because I'm kind of overwhelmed just talking about all of this stuff. I'm just trying to recollect myself. So I've been doing healing work, and a couple of nights ago, Joe did some really awesome healing work with me, and all I could tell him was, I need you to heal something that's old, and I need you to heal something that I feel like it's a part of myself that needs a hug, and it's super, 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 super deep down inside, and I just want to heal that. That was the start of it. And we found a version of myself, and there's a deep space that was in pain for a really long time, but there's no chaos there anymore. It's just a space that's ready to transform into happiness, and that time is changing. So the cycle of time is going in reverse. So whatever was your chaos experience, or at least for me, whatever was my chaos experience, here's Abby's timeline of chaos experience, and now we're going in reverse. So the chaos experience is transforming into a love-based, healing-based experience. So this entire infinite space that was connected to this request, that was all burnt out and old stuff, that was really no more chaos there at all. was now transformed into what was actually an awesome BMX freestyle park where I could ride my BMX bike, because I used to ride a BMX bike. I used to love that so much, and like bike tricks and all those things were like so exciting and so awesome in my heart. So my deeper conscious wanted that. So this old space where that part of me needed a hug, I just wanted to build a BMX park down there apparently. And I did, and all these angels came down, and it was full of happiness and friendship and love, in a time where I felt so disconnected from people, so misunderstood, and I didn't really have a place in this world. So my timeline is sort of going in reverse from what was loneliness to what is feeling loved and connected to others, and happiness, right? Because that's what life is truly all about. Anyway, so the next thing I asked Joe to do was I wanted him to talk to I Pegasus, because I've really been feeling like I need to talk to I Pegasus, but I Pegasus the rock man. He's an alien being. I'm telling you, he's a freaking alien being. Anyway, so, but I haven't been able to talk to him for a long time because I shut him out. I shut talking to alien beings out completely after that psychic attack nightmare, because I just didn't want to deal with it. Anyway, so Joe did. He went to I Pegasus, and I Pegasus actually was trying to talk to me quite a lot, but I created a barrier so he couldn't get through. Why did I create that barrier? Well, we do this sometimes. We push people away until the time comes where we need to heal those relationships and bring those people back into our lives and move forward, you know? And so anyway, I Pegasus was really amazing, and in Joe's experience, and Joe had never visited with I Pegasus before. This was the first time that Joe had ever talked to him. So I see I Pegasus as this, he's made out of what looks like black rock, but he doesn't describe it as black rock. He describes it as an exoskeleton, like an insect has, like a beetle. And it's very tough and indestructible, and he's really tall and strong and made out of black rock, and it's smooth. I experience it as smooth and glossy, and he has black eyes, and he makes scratchy noises when he speaks, so it sounds like scratching when he speaks with his voice. Anyway, he lives in basically a dead planet, a dead world. It's very barren and desolate there. And I always found I Pegasus, he was so full of love. He's so beautiful, and he was teaching me about colors. And he taught me at that time, several years ago, he taught me that you could heal people with black, with the color black, which I found so fascinating because Star Guy is also black. I see him as a black energy being with a big yellow star on his third eye and a big swirl over his heart portal. Anyway, Star Guy is really tall too, and he's just like made out of black fire is kind of what it's like. But he looks like an energy being, and he's so full of love. And him and I Pegasus both taught me about the beauty of the color black and how it's so misunderstood, and and it talked about black holes. And I was so fascinated by these conversations about the universe that were so perplexing, that the color black, I could go on and on, but I Pegasus was teaching me a lot about color. The Star Guy taught me a lot about the color black more than I Pegasus, but I Pegasus taught me about all the colors of the rainbow. And anyway, so Joe got to see I Pegasus, and I Pegasus to him, it was made out of a brown rock, and he saw the rocks had kind of open slots, and that I Pegasus would shine his light from deep down inside, and the light would be different colors, so he would turn into different colors. Then he shined a blue light through all the little cracks in his body, and that blue light just went into me and took a part of me out that I no longer needed. I Pegasus is so loving. He has the biggest, most beautiful, most kindest, most immaculate heart, and he is so timeless. He is like a mountain. His relationship with time is like a mountain's relationship with time, like a planet's relationship with time. It's just, he's so timeless. He is like lives forever kind of thing. He's so timeless. Our relationship with time is literally like this. I Pegasus' relationship with time is like timeless, but he is not a spirit. I don't experience him as a spirit. I experience him as an interdimensional being, a soul that opted to be in this incarnate state as this being, in this experience, because he does have a relationship with time. He does have a relationship with a specified consciousness, but he is also connected to his very dynamic soul. And Joe is saying that he experiences Ipaygus has this really amazing ability, that there's other versions of these rock people in different places all over the universe. But they aren't, he actually found that Ipaygus is alone. And that there's like a certain sense of challenge to that. But he's also at peace with it at the same time. So his relationship with that, his purpose or his identity, has challenge, but it's also at peace with it. But Joe was learning that Ipaygus there's other rock people in the universe, but they have a very, 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 very special purpose when it comes to the creation and the balance of the whole universe. Their purpose does. And that if they were to come together, they would create a crazy explosion. So they're never able to be in the presence of each other, ever. And so Ipaygus spends a lot of time exploring the universe and discovering what is out there. And me and Ipaygus have had lifetimes together. And you got to remember, souls are so infinite. Ipaygus can be Ipaygus, but he can also be a human being here. He could be all over the universe, having multiple different lifetimes simultaneously. So we're not just one soul, we're a collective of souls, and we're our own soul is a collective consciousness in its own right, having many experiences all at the same time. And there is no time. There's no past, present, or future. We are human. It's amazing, fascinating how we can have this experience in relationship with time, but there are many different experiences in relationships with time, many different dimensions, many different densities that you can be, experiences, bodies, relationships with your own divine creation. There's so much. I mean, there's just so many ways that you can experience a reality. Anyway, so it was really healing for me to see Ipaygus through Joe's eyes, because I too had a relationship with him. You know, I saw him in the same kind of light, that he was alone and had this amazing, some sort of amazing purpose in this universe, and I just don't fully understand it yet. But that friendship was only lasted maybe 4 months before all this terrible stuff happened, and but it was for my greater good. It was actually for my greater good, because I totally relate to anybody's experience with psychic attack stuff. And I know how to help people, because I've been there, done that, and I conquered it. And now I'm healing from it. I'm still healing from it. So I'm just talking on and on and on, right? Kryon has been paramount in helping me heal from that. And I know Kryon has been paramount in helping me to rekindle my friendships with Ipaygus and Star Guy again. Kryon, I'm telling you, he is... And I'm talking about the Kryon, the Lee Carroll Kryon. Like, I'm telling you, he is a very, 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 very special being in the universe. And I'm so thankful for him. We all are. We're all special beings. We don't know how truly special we are. And we don't feel so special when we're here. We're trying to find ways to be more special by becoming more beautiful and, you know, getting plastic surgery and going to the gym so we have more sculpted bodies. And, like, that's not really what makes you special. It's your soul's journey that truly makes you who you are and how you want to express yourself on a diverse level or a superficial level. But Kryon, man, he just blows my mind. I will say Kryon has saved my life in ways that no human being could have, because he's so interdimensional and he's so loving on a level that I will say my connections with consciousness, interdimensional beings, obviously they're invisible to us. But they aren't invisible. They're not invisible to me. I don't have any issue seeing them or feeling them and experiencing them there or not there. And I can feel them. Like I can feel, you know, sometimes we can feel each other. Somebody we love so much who is away, we start to feel something doesn't feel right in our heart. And we need to call that person and make sure that they're okay. And then we call them and say, yeah, you know, this sad thing happened. I'm so glad that you called. How did I know that? Because we're connected. We're seriously connected. You never saw that person and saw what happened, and you felt it inside yourself, and then you made the call, right? This is just an example I can feel my connection with Ipaygus. I can feel my connection with Kryon. I can feel my connection with Star Guy. It's really beautiful. It's very meaningful. So anyway, Ipaygus was super, super sweet and gave me such a gift of love. And I felt so healed in my heart. Why did this happen? You know, why did I shut down that connection? After everything I went through, it really twisted up my ability to open up to my old friends again, you know? And I think we do that as human beings here too. Like sometimes let's just say we got into kind of an abusive relationship. We shut off all of our friendships and we became a different person for like 3 years or something. And then we finally get out of that relationship and it's sort of, you feel weird about it. Like, man, I can't believe that I just dissed my friends like that. You know, I don't know how else to describe it, but like you dissed your friends. I don't know how else you describe it, right? But that relationship disconnected you from people in a way that made you feel kind of ashamed of yourself. Didn't feel ashamed of myself, but I did feel like I kind of felt like maybe that friendship was complete anyway, and maybe it was time for me to move on. I'm telling you, I've had so much learning, and more learning than I've shared in these videos. I mean, I made a video with Ra and the Blue Avians who really came out, and they are the ones that initiated this too. Like Kryon initiated a lot of this healing. The Blue Avians really inspired me to realize it's time to connect with alien beings again. And so here I am. I'm getting a little dizzy from this conversation because it's so intense for me. So I'm going to close my eyes because I get so energetically connected sometimes it actually overwhelms me. So I'm just going to relax for a moment. Take a nice deep breath and come back into my body because I'm kind of out of my body. So I'm just coming back into my body and relaxing and getting grounded again. Because I want to tell you more of this story. And I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. And I want to thank you for even taking the time to watch this 20 minutes. Because I know like we're all really busy. And I just appreciate you taking the time to care about the story that I have to share. Because this is a really meaningful story to me. And I hope it brings meaning to your life too. So after Joe did this connection with I Pegasus, I felt so much better. And I felt like I had my friend back. Not just my friend, but my heart back. Because he's such a part of my heart. I Pegasus is such a part of my heart. So anyway, I had the final one. I just felt like it was time for me to connect with Star Guy again. And so I had Joe do it because for some reason I still have a vulnerable place. And for those of you probably don't even, if you don't know who Joe is, Joseph Bradley, he is like such a meaningful part of my life, and we do some energy work together. So we're always helping each other too, doing healing on each other. And that's how we stay in balance. I mean, as a spiritual healer and a psychic, I want to be as raw and as real and as honest as I can with myself and with others that I do work for. And the more I heal myself, the better I can heal others because I'm raising my vibration. The brighter I am, the more that brightness that I can really share with you because I'm more expanded, more aware, more enlightened, and more at peace with my own identity, which means I can be even more compassionate and non-judgmental with what you're going through. I mean, this is so important. So Joe and I do healing work on each other. And you can check Joe out. He has a YouTube channel too, and his YouTube channel is Joseph Bradley, Spiritual Healer and Teacher. He doesn't make videos as often as I do, but he does have videos out there. He's a really, really kind man. And anyway, so he did go visit Star Guy, and Star Guy, Joe has talked to Star Guy before. Star Guy is really neat. Joe sees him as a universe. And so he walks around as a black being with all these stars all over him, like fit the universe into just an energy body. And that's how Joe sees Star Guy. I see Star Guy as just a black being with a giant star on his forehead and then a spiral on his heart. And I find spirals are really reflective of infinite time. So his heart is a reflection of infinite time, and he's a giant star on his forehead. That's how I see Star Guy. So It's fascinating how you have two psychics see it a little bit different, but there's a lot of similarities, you know? So anyway, so Joe found a version of Star Guy kind of, well, he was, I had created some sort of, again, just like with Ipaygus, I created a boundary so they couldn't get, Ipaygus could not reach me, could not communicate with me. I just shut them out. You have the power to shut anybody out. Anybody, any energy being, any alien being, you can actually shut them off, tune them out. I had to work really hard to do this with the psychic attack stuff, but I started to realize you have to face that experience, not necessarily turn it off. Face it is more powerful than tuning it out. You got to face it. But I can also, I just blocked them off. Anyway. So Star Guy was trying to communicate with me, but I created a sort of a dummy version of myself that was sort of sleeping. But this is all kind of part of the message about Star Guy's challenge to get through to me, because he was communicating with a part of me that was shut down, right? Because he couldn't reach me, because I was shut down. That part of me was shut down. So it was like I was sleeping and he could not get me to wake up again. No matter how hard he tried, and he's been trying the last couple of years to get through to me. That'd be why I was hearing Star Guy's name echoing every now and then. I would just like shut it off, and I was like, I just can't talk to Star Guy or Ipaygus. I just want to live my life, and I just want to move forward with new things. But I'm so glad that this has happened. Anyway, so Joe went on a journey with Star Guy, and it took Joe and Star Guy back to that timeline in 2016 where all those awful events had happened, and that was still in a version of reality happening, because there's infinite time, right? So every moment of our life in some place is still always happening until we bring that into balance, all right? And so events of that was still going on in another place in time, because it was still happening. I hadn't reconciled, I hadn't healed it all the way. So that was really, that Star Guy wasn't able to even communicate with me, so he wasn't able to access what I was going through because I'd shut him out of my heart. So Star Guy was acclimating to this awareness. It was traumatizing for him, because he's a person too. He's a real person. He's communicating with me psychically as a real person in the universe. He just happens to look like this. Anyway, so Joe and Star Guy both healed all of that stuff and transformed it into a star, and there were still beings of chaos connected with that space. So Joe followed those beings of chaos back to this location. And then, you know, one thing Joe and I have talked about is you actually cannot transform pure chaos, because pure chaos is something about pure chaos cannot self-realize, because it is pure chaos. It doesn't have a purpose but to be pure chaos. So it can be imprisoned. It can be put into an imprisonment and then put away, so that pure chaos has no power. So it can be energetically imprisoned. So Joe couldn't transform this, but it was not only, there was 3 very specific beings of chaos that were like attached to that place that I was still being basically energetically tortured in, but I didn't feel any of that going on in my world, but I did feel a part of myself shut down the more I was becoming aware of this. Are you guys keeping up? I hope that I'm helping you make sense of all this crazy journey. But anyway, so that space, the throne, there's like, you know, what is it? Is there really a throne chair? Is there really like a tall castle, like a tower that they're in? Or that's just the way we translate this vibrational space. So it looks, everything was alive there. This tower that they were in, this throne chair, there were these 3 chaos beings were communing. Joe followed him back to this whole planet where this was all happening was alive. Everything was alive. Everything is alive. That's a whole nother story. So all that stuff, that entire space, Joe called a lot of angels to come in and transform it. You can't heal anything unless you ask for help, right? Or else you choose to face it yourself and transform it yourself in your own way. Does he really transform it, or is he just putting this into a space where it has to have a disconnect from me, basically? So all of that was transformed into kind of an imprisonment, basically. It's just put into a space, and then it goes, we just don't know where. It doesn't have a place, energetic place right now in this universe, in this timeline. All right, so All right. So after that, I felt so much better. This was just a couple days ago. And I will say I have felt like such a rejuvenated breath of fresh air in my world, in my heart, in my being. I've been able to talk to Ipaygus again, to Star Guy again. Star Guy came to visit me last night, and it was so beautiful and so loving and so kind. And I mean, the feeling of what a genuine hug feels like from a being that is just pure love. It's unbelievable. Human beings, we come with so much baggage, and we're even vulnerable hugging each other in ways we don't even realize. We keep everybody at a safe distance. We have so many ways that we're pushing people away. We want to pull them in, but only so close, But these interdimensional beings of love, they don't have those blocks like we do. They can embrace you, and it's like the most purest, most sentimental, most harmonious hug. It is so loving. My heart has been just glowing the last few days from this, and it feels so good to have these friends back. So this is kind of the story of how I healed how my own broken heart became healed, not just because I did it, but through the help of many, right? Love and support. We're not alone. We're not alone in this world. Love and support. It helps us to heal. So this is kind of where I'm at. And I'd really like to share, more from I Pegasus and Star Guy in future videos. But I wanted to tell you guys this sort of updated story of what's new in my world. But I hope you enjoy it. And I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to all of this. I'm sure there's a lot of perplexing thoughts that you'll probably have. So thank you. And if any of you are interested in connecting with me for a psychic session, I would love to do energy work to help heal your heart, or share wisdom with you. Anything that you want to explore, I would be very happy to do a journey with you. And again, Joe and I do journeys together. Joseph and Abbey Journey Experience. We do other sessions too, but you can see them all at my website. So you can visit me at abbynormalswisdomquest.com. All right. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your love and support. And I wish you all a wonderful day.